If you've started using in-ear monitors and you're not happy with them, or you're hesitant about using in-ear monitors because you've had a bad experience with them, here's a couple of tips to make your in-ear monitors sound better. Also, at the end of this video, I am going to do a giveaway to one of my subscribers, so don't forget to subscribe if you're not already subscribed. If you're brand new to in-ear monitors, you know nothing about it, I do recommend you watch my beginner's guide to in-ear monitors. And if you're interested in how to set up an in-ear monitor rack for you and your band, I do have a step-by-step guide going over that. So the first part I'm going to talk about is the sound. A lot of people say it doesn't sound good, my mix doesn't sound good, there's not enough bass, anything just basically with it not sounding good. So the first thing that I would recommend is upgrading the number of drivers that you have in your in-ear monitors. So the drivers are basically just like mini speakers is the best way to think about it. And just in the same way that with a speaker, you have a subwoofer that handles the lows, you have the tweeter that handles the highs. The same thing is true about drivers within your monitors. So if you have a triple driver in your monitor earbud, one driver is going to handle the lows, one's going to handle the mids, one's going to handle the highs. If you have a single driver, you get no separation with those. So getting ones with more drivers can definitely be helpful. It also just depends on the quality of the drivers as well. You can have 100 drivers, but if they all suck, it's not going to make a difference. So bass players will definitely need multiple drivers, in my opinion, especially if you want to have more of that low tone. And speaking of low tone, one of the best ways to get the most amount of low end is to have good isolation with your earbuds. And if you don't believe me, go ahead and get just any earbuds and put them in to have a nice seal, and then listen to music and then kind of take them out a little bit, and you'll see that all that low end disappears. So if you have no low end, it's likely because you don't have a good seal in your ears. Two solutions to that is, one, you have to make sure you get the right size tip for your earbuds. I learned how valuable this was when I was doing a review of the Ultimate Earz in-ear monitor earbuds, some of the best fitting in-ear monitors I've ever used. But change the tips, or consider going for custom molds. Basically, you go to an audiologist, they take an impression of your ears, they put a bunch of stuff in your ears. I actually documented the process of my wife and I going to do this if you're interested in the process. But they take a mold of your ear and then they make the in-ear monitors to your exact ear, so you get a really nice fit with those. Obviously, that's going to be more expensive, but that is going to make it sound a lot better. My personal recommendation is triple drivers, because then you have one speaker for lows, one for the mids, and one for the highs. You can get more. I have some 6 driver in-ear monitors, but going from a single driver to a triple driver is a big difference. Going from a triple driver to a 6 driver is not that big of a difference. The other thing to keep in mind with this is that some people think that their wireless in-ear monitor system is going to make a big difference in the tone. If you get anything by, Shure, Sennheiser, Audio Technica, you're going to be fine with all of those. When you go with the really cheap stuff, you might hear a difference. But the biggest part that is going to affect the sound and tone of your in-ear monitors is actually the earbuds themselves. If you're also not happy with the sound of your in-ear monitors, you might consider trying to do a stereo in-ear monitor setup instead of a mono in-ear monitor setup. And I just released a video about mono versus stereo and why stereo is actually a lot more expensive to set up. You can watch that video to find out why. But it is nice if you utilize panning, you don't overload your in-ears that much. With stereo, you can actually get some separation, and then you can have more stuff going into your in-ear monitors. So I personally have like my lead singer pan this way, our backup singer pan this way, and then my vocals pan center. I pan the guitars just slightly, and it just allows me to hear more of everything going on. But if I do a setup with mono in-ear monitors, what I basically do is I just turn up the instruments that I need to hear. So my vocals, my guitar, and then the click track, and then the bass. Personally, the bass is how I hear if I went to like a wrong chord or something like that. The bass helps me not miss that. So I have a good amount of my vocals, my guitar, the bass, and then the click in my ears. I can get a lot more of everything if I do stereo. So that might also help. And also, if you're not happy with your in-ear monitors, you probably also haven't taken the time to really dial in your mix. It will take a little while. It's not going to just be set up automatically. And part of the beauty of in-ear monitors is once it's set up, usually with the digital mixer, it's saved. So the next time you go to the next show, all of your settings are the same, and you basically just have to make a few minor adjustments if you need to based on the room. But for the most part, it should be set pretty much how you want it. But really take the time to dial in a mix. And one of the things that I've realized is that I have very little drums in my ears, actually, especially if we have a lot of singers up front. So I play in multiple bands. Sometimes we have 4 vocalists up at front, and all of those vocal mics are picking up the drums anyways. So I just turn off all of the drums. You might want a little bit of kick drum because then you can hear that low end, but turning down the drums can be really helpful. Obviously, if you're a drummer, you probably won't want that. But if you're not a drummer, you can still generally hear the sound sound pretty well, especially with vocal mics at the front of the stage. One of the other common complaints about in-ear monitors is that they feel isolated. You feel very isolated from the crowd. So one of the best things that you can do is you can put up some ambient mics at the front of the stage. They're just microphones pointed at the audience. You just treat it as like another instrument. You add how much of the room sound you want to hear in your in-ear monitors. There are two different in-ear monitor earbuds that I've reviewed. One is by ASI Audio and the other one is by In-Ears. Both of those actually have earbuds that have a speaker or like a way to pick up sound on the earbuds themselves. So I'll link to both of those down below. It is pretty trippy to hear your full mix, but also to still hear the room. It is pretty wild. It is going to cost a little bit more money, but it is pretty awesome, and that's what I gig with pretty much all the time. The cheapest in-ear monitors, like the universal tip ones that have an ambient filter on them, are by In-Ears that I just reviewed pretty recently as well. Those are some of the most affordable ones that I know that have that. It doesn't have a way like with mine where you have a button and you can turn it up and down and turn the switch on and off, but they have just a filter on there and you can say how much of the ambient sound you want to let in and how much you prefer to be isolated. You have to change that tip though, so it's not like you can change it mid-show. Another common complaint is just about budget for in-ear monitors, and yeah, it is an investment for sure. So are drums and stuff like that. It is funny that people will spend, $3,000 on a guitar, but they won't spend $500 to $1,000 to get a good wireless in-ear monitor system. It's up to you on what you prioritize, but one of the things you can do is you can actually start with like a wired in-ear monitor system, especially for practice, and this will help you adjust to having in-ear monitors. The one that I really like is by FZone. I have a video on that. Those are like $50. And also for wireless ones, I do like the PHENYX Pro PTM 10s. Those are pretty affordable. Also, if you use promo code ScottYuleMusic at checkout on their website, you get 5% off your purchase, so it's even cheaper. So that can be a good way to start, especially if you're on more of a smaller budget. Some people will say, can you share a mix with your bandmates? That's a great way to save money because then you just need one transmitter and 4 receivers and everyone has the same mix. This can lead to more arguments and you disliking in-ear monitors more because your singer is going to be like, well, I can't hear myself. I need to have vocals up a lot higher. And it's like, well, now that the vocals are up so high, I can't hear my guitar or my keys or something like that. So it depends on how in agreement everyone can be about their in-ear monitor mix. I found that most people do want to have their own mix, myself included. So it's up to you guys. Just keep that in mind. It could lead to you hating your mix and therefore not liking in-ear monitors, when in reality, the same thing would be true about a wedge. If you all had the same wedge mix, you wouldn't like the mix. It's not the in-ear monitor's fault. And I've also heard that in-ear monitors are just too complicated. It's too complicated to set up, too complicated to learn. It can be intimidating for sure, but in the same way, it's the same way of learning an instrument or learning how to use a new pedal. It just takes a little bit of time. I do have a lot of videos on this channel going over stuff with in-ear monitors on how to set it up. Beginner's guide, how to run your own in-ear monitors. I did review the PRESONUS. It's a very slim digital mixer, and I go over how to set that up for in-ear monitors if you want to watch a video on that. But if you do go with an in-ear monitor rack, one of the things to remember is make sure that everyone knows where to plug in or where to set their in-ear monitors and stuff like that. The hardest thing is when you are the one person who knows how to set up your in-ear monitor rack and you only have like 15 minutes to get set up. That can be a huge pain. So make sure that everyone in your band just has a general education. Hey, this is where I plug in. Hey, this is my pack. Here, this is what I do and stuff like that. Don't be the only guy in charge of everything because that will make it a mess. If you have a sound engineer whose dedicated job is that, then that's fine. But when you're the one band member who knows how to set all this up and everyone's asking you questions, that can be really stressful. But you have a lot of videos on my channel and I will link to them down below and hopefully that will help you out to understand this. So my recommendations for in-ear monitor systems, as far as the earbuds themselves, if you can afford to either get the ASI audio ones or the ones by In-Ears, those are definitely worth it because again, they have that ambient filter to let in some of the ambient sound so you don't feel as isolated. Those are really a game changer. I really love those, but they are going to be a lot more expensive. One that I like for less isolation, if you want to hear more of the ambience of the room, I like the In-Ears Z22, which I did do a video on. If you do want ones that have a better seal and a bit more isolation, I do like the ones by Ultimate Ears. Those ones fit really well. I had a singer who had a lot of problems of it falling out, and she had 0 problems with this one now. And if you're looking for just the super budget stuff, there's ones by CCA and KZ. Those seem to be the most budget-friendly ones. Remember to get at least triple drivers. If you're more of a tone purist, you are going to have to spend a little bit more money. For wireless in-ear monitor systems, my favorite one is the one by Audio-Technica, kind of a hidden gem. The Shure and Sennheiser ones are also fantastic. I just personally like the Audio-Technica one the most. You can check out my video on that. And as far as the best budget ones, I really like the PHENYX Pro PTM 10s, which I also have a video on. And again, you get 5% off if you use promo code ScottYule at checkout on those PHENYX Pro ones. If you found this helpful, do me a favor and hit the thumbs up button. It's a free way to support the channel, feed the YouTube algorithm gods, and I would appreciate it. Also, consider subscribing if you want to see more videos like this in the future. Like I said, I was going to do a giveaway to one of my subscribers, and I am going to give away these Westone 6 driver in-ear monitor earbuds. These actually are $1,100 in-ear monitors. I think it's actually the most expensive giveaway I've done on the channels. So I'm stoked about doing that. I always love doing giveaways whenever I can to you guys. It's been a little while since I've done one. These are great in-ear monitors. They're very comfortable. I did a review on it if you want to check them out. They are 6 drivers, like I mentioned. I'm going to give them away to one of you guys. So in order to win, 2 things. 1, you have to be a subscriber. So if you're not already subscribed, go ahead and subscribe. And then second, you have to leave a comment down below using the magic phrase. You can say whatever you want in the comment section, just as long as at some point you say the magic phrase. In the past, I've done some of my other favorite artists, Sleep Token, Dua Lipa, stuff like that. This one, the magic phrase is Spiral Cell. Yes, my own original music. I'm promoting my own music. I just released a brand new album, full-length album. It's a concept album with like story and dialogue. It's more of like a soundtrack type of thing. You can check it out. I'll link to it up above and down below. I'm stoked with how it came out. So yes, shameless self-promotion for the magic phrase today. You gotta do what you gotta do. But yeah, the magic phrase is Spiral Cell. I will announce the winner on this date right here. Please remember, do not respond to scammers. I'll never ask you for money or anything for these giveaways. Scammers sometimes will show up. They'll pretend that they're me. They'll ask you to message them on WhatsApp or something random like that. And then they'll start saying, oh, you owe me money for shipping. Just know if anyone sends you a message, they say that they're me, and they ask you for money for whatever reason, that is a scam, 100%. I will never ask you for money. So thank you guys again for watching. I will have links down below to check out some other videos. If you are interested in checking out how to set up your own in-ear monitor rack, I do have a video going over that. And if you want to check out that PRESONUS mixer and how to set it up for in-ear monitors, you can check out that video as well. You can check out either of those videos by clicking the links on your screen now or some of the links in the description down below. Thank you guys again for watching. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram at ScottYule. Let me know if you have any other issues with your in-ear monitors. Leave a comment down below. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.